All right, rapid fire. Here are some pretty terrific numbers. 195% in 1 year, 155% in 30 days, 322% in 30 days, and 478% in 30 days. Pretty impressive gains. In terms of those three monthly gainers that I talked about over the course of 30 days, we're talking about Cardano, XRP, and Hedera Hashgraph. And then zooming out, not to leave Solana out of the conversation, that's been more slow but steady given its size and its market cap. But Sol really has had a phenomenal 12 months. And what's old is very much new again, because we're seeing so many of these legacy established altcoin projects that are just getting revitalized. So the question becomes, is now a good time to rotate out of these legacy projects into newer, fresher altcoin gems? Welcome to the channel. My name is Maddie and this is Altcoin Buzz. All the best of luck if you choose to invest. Legacy projects, newer altcoins, and for everything in between. Really, I genuinely wish you well. But I am not a financial or investment advisor. Remember that, and by extension, also the fact that this video is not official financial or investment advice. First of all, and right out of the bat, I just want to say that a lot of the research that we're going to be covering in this video really comes out of the Altcoin Buzz Alpha research team. They are an excellent resource, and they make sure to consistently deliver tremendous value to our members. If you want to give it a shot, there's a trial link that you can check out in the description of this video below, and you can see firsthand for yourself the quality and the caliber of this research. Okay, with that being said, I want to provide the context here that really, not just yet, but quite soon, we're going to have altcoin season that kicks off. This always has a few characteristics in terms of the market cycles, some of which you're probably familiar with. First of all, Bitcoin keeps rising, but its dominance starts to decline. This is kind of when the baton is transferred from BTC to the altcoins. This is really a major telltale sign. That's starting to happen now. We saw Bitcoin dominance very recently at about the 60% mark a few weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago. And then just taking a snapshot here of the most recent available data, you can see that it's just over 51%. So there is a decline here that's been observed. And then secondly, as a characteristic, we have the blue chip altcoins, again, those established legacy projects, the best ones out there in some cases, that are starting to move, that are starting to perform really, really well. This has been ongoing now for a few weeks, and they've shown incredible success in terms of price appreciation versus the rest of the market. The next major characteristic, the next sign that we're still waiting for at the time of this recording, is a rotation of smart money from the blue chips and out of the blue chips into other large caps, but more kind of down the line of mid caps and small cap altcoins. Now, of course, if you hold on too long and you don't take profits, then that's a problem. We're looking here at the max chart of XRP. In the last bull run, for example, it went up from 20 cents to about $1.76, or about an 8x return. And for context, that's even more than the XRP army got recently in these last few weeks of price appreciation. But everybody knows what happened next in the bear market, right? A drop from $1.76 all the way down to 31 cents in the summer of 2022. Almost pretty much a full round trip on a blue chip project, on an established project. And if you held on the way down, then you went from an 8x to a 0.5x, which is painful. And this pretty much happens to all the projects out there, including the biggest projects in cryptocurrency. So if you know that to be the case, you know it to be a reliable pattern, just don't let it catch you off guard. So what exactly are we rotating our profits into? Well, again, this is going to be based on research as provided by the Altcoin Buzz Alpha team. They've suggested 3 gems that, by all accounts, are going to be outperforming the market and doing so at lower risk than most other altcoin projects out there. And the first coin that we're going to examine here is PEAQ, P-E-A-Q. This is very much a deep-in project, and our alpha researchers believe actually that this is going to be the leading project in that particular crypto sector. That's because even other deep-in projects use PEAQ for their own decentralized infrastructure. So for things like Chirp or decentralized telecom, BitDoctor, which is one of the most advanced AI doctor agents, and many other examples as well. And as the deep-in of deep-ins, here you're making 2 separate but obviously related arguments in favor of PEAQ. Because if deep-in as a sector wins, then of course so too does PEAQ. But then even if the whole sector doesn't necessarily win, by selling the most valuable infrastructure to other projects, PEAQ still does kind of win. At a market value right now of $388 million, PEAQ, again, PEAQ, has lots of room to grow from here. If we, for example, do a 15x from where we are here, then we get to the size of the biggest DePIN project currently. That's Render. So there's lots of room to grow. That's certain. Spectacular things are happening with Altcoin Buzz Alpha right now because members are earning huge profits, preventing losses, and improving their overall portfolio performance. Join us as we explore the entire crypto landscape, including the ecosystems of projects like Base, Sui, also the booming DeSci sector, DePIN, AI agents, and of course, many, many more narratives. This is the place to get hot Web3 trends, undervalued crypto gems, buy and sell calls, airdrops, and daily portfolio strategies. In addition, of course, to responses to your questions. Check out the link in the description below and join us today. Okay, moving on now, let's discuss two DeFi 3.0 tokens that we particularly like. If you're hearing this term for the first time, DeFi 3.0 just kind of represents the next generation of DeFi protocols. They have a lot more utility and a lot more sustainability than some of the older generations. Real yield, liquidity mining, and even directional LPs to reduce or even entirely eliminate impermanent loss. All of these are a part of DeFi 3.0. RWA is a part of it as well, real world assets. So again, there are two tokens here in DeFi 3.0 that we really, really like. The first of those two is Clearpool. And this is actually one of our favorites in RWA. That's because Clearpool is an emerging leader in decentralized credit, or to put it differently, under-collateralized lending. In contrast to Clearpool, almost all DeFi lending right now is over-collateralized, meaning, for example, let's say you put up $10,000, but you borrow less than that, $7,500, $8,000, whatever. That extra cushion for the lender is protection, but it's also an inefficient use of capital. Clearpool wants to bring bonds and larger scale corporate borrowing on chain, and they've got some pretty big, some pretty ambitious ideas as far as how they want to make that happen. One of those ideas is their regulatory compliant L2 that they're building. It's called Ocean. If you haven't heard about this yet, don't worry, you will. This is going to become more of a household name. In fact, we also have a dedicated video coming out very soon on Ocean. It's a big deal. We're going to be giving it more coverage in the very near future. The credit vaults allow you to invest in these corporate loans. Or if you prefer, you can just pick a dynamic pool like this one and invest some USDT, for example, on Optimism for a very nice 10% return. Clearpool's token, ticker CPOOL, CPOOL, is at 39 cents right now, and the total market cap of this project sits at $292 million. Still very modest in size, very young in terms of where it can go. All right, and finally, the last coin that we're going to look at today, and the second one in this DeFi 3.0 category, is Thena. This is a DEX that uses what it calls a collaborative liquidity layer on BNB Smart Chain. And among the concentrated liquidity pools, we found this low-risk pair. It is YNBNB, or Yield Nest Restaked BNB, paired with BNB. So impermanent loss risk here is very, very low. It only really happens if YNBNB loses its peg. Plus, it pays a very nice APR, 22%. Its cross-chain swaps are also unique. The setup actually looks and acts just like a swap, even though it's a bridged cross-chain transaction. The idea of giving a simpler user interface to users is another big part in terms of all DeFi 3.0 platforms. These kinds of improvements are what you can expect to see a lot more of. Thena has had some great things going on for it as a project, and despite PancakeSwap's dominance on BNB chain, Thena is growing very rapidly by offering things PancakeSwap simply doesn't. The native Thea, that's TEH token, has exploded with over a 10x just in the last couple of weeks. But for this project, this is only the beginning. If you take a look at how small it still is at $120.8 million. Look, guys, that's just barely out of the micro cap range. It's got a ton of room to improve. A lot of the foundational things are looking very impressive when it comes to what they're trying to accomplish and what they've already done. So despite being down quite a bit on the day, we're down over 12% today, ticker THE. That's okay. The market is just kind of taking a breather right now, but keep an eye on this one, Thena. Also keep an eye, again, on the broader DeFi 3.0 space and scene. That is what we really like right now, but obviously this has not been an exhaustive list. If you're plugged in to DeFi 3.0, there's other stuff you'd like us to cover, we will. There's a lot more to discuss when it comes to this topic. Let us know your favorites in the comments below.